Hello, hello, my friends. We have another Caramel Sundays restock happening this weekend, which means it's time for me to share with you guys what is on my wish list, as well as give a quick overview as to what candles will be returning. Now, the September restock is kind of an important one, I would say. If you are somebody who is wanting to get your hands on more fall candles, maybe you are somebody who has been, I don't want to say delayed because that's not really an accurate statement, but a lot of people like myself started burning fall candles late July, early August. Truthfully, you guys, summer is not my favorite season. I live in Arizona. It's hotter than you know what here. So I personally was trying to usher in the fall season, starting to burn some transitional scents starting back in July. You guys know I was gone for an extended period of time in August. That was also another reason why I was starting to get some fall burning going. But I do know that there's a lot of people who really enjoy the summer season. And for a lot of you guys, fall doesn't start, your fall seasonal burning doesn't start until the month of September. And so maybe some of you guys were holding off on purchasing any fall scents. But the reason why I said that this month is kind of important, if you are one of those people, maybe, you know, like I said, you haven't purchased a lot of fall yet, this restock is going to be the final fall fragrance, the final fall restock that Caramel Sundays is going to do. Starting in October, they're going to start releasing some of their Christmas and holiday scents. So if you have had your eye on any of the fall fragrances from Caramel Sundays, this is going to be the month to try to get your hands on them. Now, you guys know, try to get your hands on them because Caramel Sundays business model is a little bit different than some of the other candle brands that I talk about here on my channel, as well as other creators. Caramel Sundays does kind of have a Hunger Games style where they do a monthly restock. So this month it will be happening this Sunday, September 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There is a code that you can text the word candle, and make sure you guys, I mean, this sounds a little bit ridiculous. Make sure you spell the word candle correct. Candle. Okay, Candle. Okay, candle. I will put it across the screen here, the number to text it to. If you have done that in the past and you've gotten those text alerts, you don't have to sign up every month to do that. That is something that once you're signed up, you're always signed up unless you tell them to stop sending you the texts. But you know, just make sure that you're sending the text to the correct number, that you get confirmation that you're signed up. They will send you like a text back saying like you're signed up. But make sure you've done that if you want to get that 2 minutes of early access, because you guys know how the name of this game is. You got to get in early and get what you want. In fact, in the August restock, I didn't even get everything that I wanted because there were a couple of items that I was curious about and they were out before I could get my hands on them. So stay tuned to the end of this video. If you are new to shopping with Caramel Sundays, I will give you a couple of tips and tricks to shopping with them. But for most of you guys who are watching this video, I know that you're a little bit familiar now with shopping from the brand, and I don't really want to waste any more time. So if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. Always put this disclosure out there. This video is not sponsored by Caramel Sundays, nor do they do PR. This is just a small business that I discovered about a year ago now, and I've really enjoyed purchasing from them. I've loved a lot of their fragrances, and this is just a video that I like to do every month here on my channel. So let's go ahead and talk about the fall candles that are going to be offered. You guys know that Caramel Sundays has a variety of things. They have candles. They have, they're launching a new what is it, like fabric freshening spray. They have laundry soap. They have some personal care items. They've got a bunch of them. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to just narrow it down to the candles because that's primarily what I focus on here on my channel. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know the 2 candle formats, what fragrances are going to be offered. You guys know I love the 4-wick candles. Those retail for $64.99. They are 40 ounces of 100% soy wax. Caramel Sundays is a quote-unquote clean brand. They pride themselves on being non-tox. So the 4 wicks that are going to be offered are Fall Cider, Halloween Town, Bakery on Main, Dad's Blueberry Cobbler, Pumpkin Cashmere, Witching Hour, Cinnamon Apple Donut, Crisp Country Apple, and FALL-OWEEN. Yeah, FALL-OWEEN. That's kind of interesting to try to say there. So like I said, $64.99. Those do include the cost of shipping. All of their all of their prices reflect that the shipping cost is built in. So you don't have to worry about, making sure that you buy so much in order to get free shipping. We'll talk about that at the end of this video if you've never shopped with them before, but it is kind of nice that you don't have to really add in extra shipping costs. So I am going to say on the 4 wicks, you guys, I've done dedicated reviews on Fall Cider, on Bakery on Main, what's the other one? Witching Hour. I've done a dedicated review on. Those are 3 fragrances that I have. The only one that I have actually done a dedicated review on the 4-wick format is Bakery on Main, and I'm just going to go out on a limb right here, you guys, and say it is still my #1 favorite vanilla gourmand fragrance. The 4-wick particularly performed very well for me. It is one of the only vanilla gourmand fragrances that once it got going, you guys know caramel sundaes, sometimes they need to have, I usually say by like the 3rd burn, they really come into their the fullness of what they're going to be. But Bakery on Main, still my #1 favorite vanilla gourmand. It has not been dethroned. I did purchase the huge 150-ounce candle way back in, when was that, March or April. I have actually burned through half of it. It has its permanent little home on my kitchen table. But yeah, that one, I love that fragrance. It's the most beautiful vanilla gourmand fragrance. Now, the 2-wick fragrances that are going to be offered, those are about 18 ounces of 100% soy wax, and those retail for $31.99. The fragrances that will be offered are Autumn Jam, Always Autumn, Apple Truffle, Trick or Treat, Witching Hour, Halloween Town, Fall Cider, Cinnamon Apple Donut, Hocus Pocus, Poison Pear, FALL-OWEEN, Caramel Dipped Apple, and then they did a last minute game time decision. They added the fragrance Graveyard, and then they are also going to be offering 2 specialty vessels they're like pumpkin jars. There's going to be an ivory colored pumpkin jar, and that is going to have the fragrance Blueberry Pumpkin Pancakes. And then there's going to be an orange pumpkin jar that is going to have the fragrance Sugar Pumpkin Pretzel. Now, I will say, of the 2-wick fragrances, the ones that I have had in my possession and I highly recommend, Always Autumn smells a lot like Bath & Body Works Autumn. So if you're a fan of that fragrance, I have it in a 4-wick and I'm loving it. Apple Truffle, you guys, that's been my favorite apple gourmand that I have discovered this year. I did do a post-burn review on that. I currently have it in the 4-wick. Witching Hour, I did do a review on earlier this week. It's a very cranberry forward fragrance. I like it. It's not going to be a repurchase for me, but it's one that I actually have set aside for probably like late October, early November. That's more of like a fall to holiday transitional scent for me personally. Fall Cider, love it. I said in my review the other day, it is very much in the vein of Bath & Body Works Cider Lane. So if you like that fragrance, highly recommend that one. And then there's another fragrance that I really enjoyed, and I actually did not get around to doing a dedicated post-burn review of it. So I did mention in some of my Caramel Sundays reviews earlier this week that I was going to touch on it in this video, and it is the fragrance Autumn Jam. Now, you're going to look at this and say, wow, that vessel looks a little wild. You guys know, usually by the time I get to the bottom of my Caramel Sundays candles, because they do usually burn cleanly, when I only have a tiny bit of wax, sometimes I just let them burn out, which means that then the soot accrues and whatnot. Up until the final burn, I did not have all of this soot. The wicks were fine. Everything was fine on it. It's just that the final burn, usually I just let the candle go for a much longer period of time than I normally do with my burns. But Autumn Jam has fragrance notes, top notes of apple, citrus, mid notes of cranberry and spice, base note of wood and dried clove. You guys, this is one, I purchased this fragrance in the June restock, and this is one that kind of like I added to my cart last minute, or added to my wish list last minute, because Sierra, one of the co-owners of Caramel Sundays, was raving about how much she loves this fragrance, and I fell in love with it too. You guys, I highly, highly recommend this Autumn Jam. I'm kicking myself for not purchasing it in the 4-wick when it was available in that format in the June restock. It's so good. It's cranberry, but there's more spice to it. I get a little bit of sweetness from like a little bit of apple in here, but this is not an apple forward fragrance. It's kind of like cranberry and apple. And then you get some of those like spices in there, but they're not like mulling spices. You get a little bit of that clove. It's just a very cozy autumnal fragrance. So this is one that I would highly recommend. I had great performance out of it, even in the 2-wick. I will say with Caramel Sundays, if you want a little bit of extra oomph, especially in an open concept, pop them in a hurricane and it should help. But yeah, this one I would say was about like, I would give this one around a 7 in the 2-wick format. Perfect for me. You guys know I'm not somebody who always wants smack you in the face type of fragrance. But yeah, I really enjoyed this fragrance. And this is a great segue into what is currently on my wish list. So I guess we can kick off what's on my wish list in the 2-wick format. Autumn Jam, I do have on my wish list. I would like to get my hands on another one of these as a backup, just in case they don't bring it back next year. I just really, really love this fragrance. There's something that is just so cozy and inviting about it, but it's not your typical pumpkin or apple fragrances. Just a really, really nice scent. The other fragrance in the 2-wick that is on my wish list to pick a backup of is, no surprise, the fragrance Apple Truffle. Top notes of apple and warm oats, mid notes of butterscotch cream, base note of cinnamon sugar. Now, I did do a review on Apple Truffle, either was it earlier this week or last week? I can't remember, you guys. All the days all run together. But Apple Truffle, to me, smells like an apple crisp baking in the oven. Now, it was funny. I watched my friend McKenna over at the Joyful Candle. I watched her review the other day, and it was funny. She was saying she picks up on the butterscotch note, but I don't detect any butterscotch at all. So it just goes to show you that different noses pick up on different things. And so that's why I think it's always important. If you're somebody who's kind of just getting into home fragrance, maybe you're following different creators here on YouTube, you're going to start to finding out which creators you have similar scent preferences with. It doesn't mean that you can't watch creators who don't share those preferences with you, but even I would say that like that's one of the best ways that I have found to, when I was purchasing candles or whatnot. I have other creators who I know that we share. We will usually pick up on similar notes. There's some other creators who I love supporting, but like they'll smell things and I'm like, I don't smell that at all. Or they like fragrances that I'm like, I don't like those fragrances, but I still support their channel. So I think it's just important for you to always keep in mind, you guys, when you are watching these videos, make sure that you have similar preferences, or maybe, you know, if you have a history of that creator, you know, liking the same things that you do, then that would be helpful. But anyways, with Apple Truffle, to me, it smells similar to like an apple crisp baking in the oven. You get kind of that like oaty, like warm oats, but it's not like oatmeal. It's like a warm oat and kind of like not streusel type of topping, but you just get that kind of crispy topping on top of like warm apples that are being baked with spices. Just a great fragrance. So that one is on my wish list. I actually messaged Sierra earlier this week and I was like, I have a feeling I've shot myself in the foot with possibly getting my hands on any more of these candles by recommending some of these fragrances. I said I should have done a better job gatekeeping, but oh well, here we are. Apple Truffle, highly recommend. Then now there's 2 other fragrances that I'm kind of on the fence about, you guys, about purchasing. Fragrance notes, the fragrances are, I should say, FALL-OWEEN has me a little bit intrigued, has top notes of Belgian waffles, pistachio cream, mid notes of sugar cookies, and then base note of autumn spices and butter. Pretty intrigued by that because you guys know how much I love caramel sundaes, how they do pistachio. But I'm curious to see, you know, how do you put together a Belgian waffle and a sugar cookie? That to me looks like it's going to be like a really dense gourmand type of fragrance. So that one has me intrigued. And then the fragrance Graveyard, which you guys know I'm not really big on Halloween, but the fragrance notes here are top notes of apples, sweet ginger, almond, macaroons, mid notes of juniper, cranberry, crunchy leaves, and then base note of cedar, amaretto, and vanilla. That one, I'm kind of on the fence about that because it sounds intriguing to me. It sounds like it might lean a little bit more masculine, maybe outdoorsy, fresh, but a little tinge of gourmand in that. So I'm curious about that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if I end up not purchasing it. I, just like a lot of you guys, I'm having a budget that I'm trying to be mindful of. So that one's kind of, I feel like that one's like maybe. Okay, and then I have a couple of 4-wick candles that are on my wish list. No surprise here, you guys. Fall Cider is on my wish list. Top notes, spiced cider, mid notes, tart apple, caramel, base notes of warm brown sugar and clove. Again, I'm not going to go into great depth about it, but I have gotten really good performance out of the 2-wick that I currently have. I did purchase that in the August restock. Very, very similar to Bath & Body Works Cider Lane. I think it's done a little bit better, to be honest with you. But that was always one of my favorite fragrances from Bath & Body Works, so I'm really grateful to have it available in a formula that I prefer to burn. So fall cider is definitely on my wish list. I might just purchase that one to have as a backup for next year because I'm still only halfway through the current fall cider that I have. Another fragrance this is one that was on my wish list for the August restock, and it sold out before I could even get my hands on it. It is the fragrance Pumpkin Cashmere. Top notes of sweet pumpkin, sea salt, mid notes of butter, pecan, and warm apples, and then a base note of cashmere and vanilla musk. A lot of people who I have talked to who have gotten their hands on that one say it is a beautiful pumpkin scent. It's kind of elevated. A couple of people that I've talked to have said that they have their closest comparison they would say would be Hallmark's Amaretto Pumpkin. They say it's not the same, but it kind of reminds them of that similar type of vibe. So if that's a fragrance that you have loved, maybe this is one that might pique your interest, but don't be surprised, you guys, if that one goes really, really quickly. And then the last fragrance in the 4-wick that is on my wish list is Crisp Country Apple. We have top notes of green leaves and pear, mid notes of apple, and base note of vanilla. The reason why that one is on my wish list is I actually have their all-purpose cleaner in that fragrance. I bought it a few months ago. I feel like it was available like in the early part of summer. Like apple fragrances to me are more of like a fall scent. But I decided to go ahead and purchase it. And I have to tell you guys, every time I clean my kitchen with that cleaner, my entire family, like somebody in my family will walk in and say, it smells so good in here. Like my son comes in, he's like, what's that smell? My kids, oh, it smells good in here. My husband, it smells good in here. So knowing that my entire family really, really loves that fragrance, I thought, you know what, I want it in a candle format because I'm almost out of my cleaner. And I don't believe that the cleaners are going to be restocking this month. I believe that they said that they should be back next month. But I love that Crisp Country Apple fragrance. To me, it's kind of like it's a more tart Granny Smith apple. It's not really like a gourmand bakery apple. Kind of reminds me a little bit of there's a Kringle candle that I had in the 3-wicks. Oh, the apple leaf candle, which I always said kind of reminds me of going and picking an apple off of the apple tree. You get a little bit of that like woody stem note coming from it. That's what I feel like the Crisp Country Apple. It's not as woody or stem-like as apple leaf, but the actual apple note itself is very, very similar to, you know, kind of, it's an apple, but there's a little bit of pear mixed in there. Just a really lovely fragrance. And so I thought, you know what, I want to go ahead and have that in candle format. So that is those are the 4-wicks that are on my wish list. Now I do want to purchase the fabric enhancer spray in the fragrance Pistachio Cream. You guys know I just love the pistachio fragrance that Caramel Sundays has. And, you know, we can always use a little bit of a fabric enhancer just to kind of quickly spruce things up. You know, I've got kids that play sports. Sometimes it's nice when I can't get around to like washing all of their products, sometimes, you know, to just kind of spray off their little bags. Or actually, I was thinking I could even use it to like freshen up in my vehicles. I'm curious. You can always have a um, variety of purposes for a fabric enhancer spray. And then the other thing that I didn't write down on here, but something that I was talking to, you know, sometimes I talk to some other candle people over on Instagram, and quite a few of them have said that their hand soaps are really, really nice. And I believe that they're going to have hand soaps available in pumpkin pie, I think fall cider. So I will definitely be eyeballing those hand soaps to maybe throw a couple of those in my cart. And then you guys know that I love the laundry soap in the fragrance Plain Jane. I don't know if Plain Jane is restocking this time. But if it is, I will probably throw another one of those in my cart. I particularly love washing my sheets and my towels in that, you know, I have a family of 5, so I otherwise use unscented laundry detergent for all of our clothing. But for my sheets and my towels, I like to treat myself to something a little bit extra special. The Plain Jane fragrance is very similar to Tyler Candle Co., their Diva Wash. So all things that I am pretty curious about this time. So that's what's on my wish list. I'd be curious to know what is on yours. Feel free to comment down below. If you have never shopped with caramel sundaes before, these are my quick tips and tricks to share with you guys. I've shared this over and over. This is not the brand where you're going to go in and try to just make one big cart and check out. If you do that, you are going to miss out on things. So my best advice is to have a strategy going in. Put your wish list together. You can go to the Caramel Sundaes website right now, look over all of the fragrances. They have all of the fragrance notes. All of the products are going to be shown as sold out right now. But go on, go through, make your list. And then what I would say is from your list, prioritize what is the product that you are the most excited about. Is it a candle? Is it a room spray or whatnot? The candles, truthfully, are the ones that I think go like that. But I think that they're also releasing like an inflammation cream. It might be this launch. Don't quote me. That one, I have a feeling that one's going to sell out pretty quickly too. So what I personally do is I look at my wish list and I say, okay, what are the things that are probably likely to sell out first, and are any of those items ones that I really, really want to get my hands on? So, for example, just looking at how the last restock went, that pumpkin cashmere was gone quickly because it's only available in the 4-wick 40-ounce. If you look at a candle, say for example, I'm looking at Fall Cider. Okay, Fall Cider, very popular scent from Bath and Body Works Cider Lane. If I wanted to only get it in the 2-wick, I would probably prioritize getting that one first, because if a fragrance is available in a 2-wick or a 4-wick, the 2-wick, in my experience, not always, but this has been my experience, the 2-wicks usually sell out quicker because they're less expensive. They're a lower price point. So those ones go a little bit quicker, whereas the 4-wicks, the people who are buying those are the ones who are really committed to the scent. So I'm just going to say, like, my strategy here, for me personally, I'm going to say my number one priority of the fragrances that I want to get is Crisp Country Apple, because I know that my family loves it. Do I think it's going to be one of the first ones to sell out? Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Truthfully, you guys, I think the first ones that are probably going to be highest risk to sell out are going to be Apple Truffle, Fall Cider, in those 2-wicks, probably FALL-OWEEN. I'm thinking in the 2-wick is going to sell out pretty quickly. So you kind of look at, there's some other, like I said, Halloween fragrances that are probably going to sell out pretty quickly. The 2-wicks, I feel like, are the highest risk of selling out. So where I'm going with this is prioritize what's your number one product that you want to get. Go in, put that in your cart, check out. So that way you know that you got your number one product. From there, then you can go in and maybe put items 2 and 3 available in your cart, check out. And then that's where I go. Like, I just basically prioritize, what do I really, really want? Try to think, is it likely to sell out very quickly? Try to take an educated guess on that. And again, do that based off of price point. Lower priced items probably going to sell out a little bit faster. So that's usually the strategy that I use. And then for me, I feel like, okay, I got the product that I really, really wanted. Yes, all of these other candles I would really like. I would love to try pumpkin cashmere, but the truth is I have a ton of other pumpkin fragrances in my collection right now. So am I going to be totally bummed that I miss out on it? No. Same with Fall Cider. I love that fragrance. I would want it as a backup, but do I need more for right now? No. So if I miss out on it, I guess it'll be okay. Apple Truffle, I think, is going to sell out pretty quickly, but again, I still have half of it available in a 4-wick, so not the end of the world if I miss out on it. And Autumn Jam, I feel like, is a fragrance that might sell out quickly, but also I feel like when it was in the June restock, it didn't sell out as quickly as some of the other gourmand fragrances. So that might be one that I can, kind of gamble on to see if I can get a backup of. But again, for me as a reviewer, somebody who I'm always having to review new fragrances, sometimes I like to buy backups, but if I can't get backups, I just figured that there's always going to be something else down the line that I will enjoy. So that is my strategy in terms of, trying to shop and get what you want. I know a couple of you guys have said that strategy has helped you guys out. You employed that strategy on a couple of their drops and it felt a little bit less frustrating. I do know that Caramel Sundaes has expanded. They've been pouring more. So hopefully they'll be able to meet up with demand, but you guys know they are a small business, and just the way that their drops happen, things do sell out pretty quickly. But yeah, this is going to be their last fall restock. I'm really excited to see what they will be bringing out for the holidays. Can't believe it. We're already talking holiday releases. In fact, after I film this video, I'm going to film a holiday video. Can't even believe it, but here we are. Alas, here we are. We are into the Burr months, and that's what's to be expected. So anyways, you guys, please hit thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Consider subscribing once again if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.